Bree here, and I am recording this on Halloween. This is my Halloween costume. I am William Afton. I have my Spring Bonnie plush here. Since it is Halloween, I wanted to read some scary true stories with you. Okay, I think I'm gonna need this guy here just for comfort. The Enfield Monster. In 1973, a man in Enfield, Illinois, told reporters that he saw a weird little creature lurking in his yard. Per the Mount Vernon Register News, resident Henry McDaniel stated, "It had 3 legs on it, a short body, 2 short little arms, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights." The police later found scratches on the door screen and footprints that looked like a dog's, but with 6 toes. Have you seen the 6-fingered dog?
Happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand.
If they do find it, McDaniel said in the newspaper, they will find more than one, and they won't be from this planet, I can tell you that. To this day, no explanation has ever been found. Why is he so sure that they'll find more than one? I don't know, I feel like this one could have a reasonable explanation, like combination of substances and a dog that has an extra toe.
It's not that strange.
In Colombia, the Hotel del Salto has more stories as one of the most haunted places on Earth than it does actual tenants. Turned into a museum, the hotel was designed by, I think that's a typo, architect Carlos Arturo Tapias back in 1923, overlooking the, what is with these words? Tequendama Falls. The views were said to be spectacular, but guests kept getting a little too close to the falls. Translated to Hotel of the Leap. Why would you name it that?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
The Hotel del Salto is full of stories of people leaping to their deaths. According to local legend, the indigenous Muisca tribe escaped from Spanish colonizers by leaping off the cliffs some centuries before. Oh, that gives me goosebumps. That's creepy. Let's move on to something uplifting like the Axe Murder House. The Viskilla Axe Murder House in Viskilla, Iowa is a well-known tourist attraction for ghost hunters and horror lovers alike. I love haunted attractions. Like, I don't like haunted houses, I like actual, like, Steve and I went to Eureka Springs for our first anniversary, and we toured a haunted hotel. We took a ghost tour. It was a lot of fun. But like a haunted house attraction, I can't do that. The site of a gruesome, unsolved 1912 murder in which 6 children and 2 adults had their skulls completely crushed by the axe of an unknown perpetrator was purchased in 1994. Hey, that's the year I was born. Restored to its 1912 condition and converted into a tourist destination. It costs $428 a night, dang, to stay at the old haunted home, where visitors always report strange paranormal experiences, such as visions of a man with an axe roaming the halls or the faint screams of children. Oh, I love falling asleep to the faint screams of children.
She's kidding. She's joking.
I say as I'm dressed as William Afton. But in November of 2014, the haunting took a darker turn. Robert Stephen Larson Jr., 37, of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, was on a regular recreational paranormal visit with friends when true horror struck. Per Vice, his companions found him stabbed in the chest, an apparently self-inflicted wound, called 911, and Larson was brought to a nearby hospital before being helicoptered to Creighton University Medical Center in Omaha. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office said Larson suffered the self-inflicted injury at around 12:45 a.m., which is around the same time the 1912 axe murders in the house began. Larson recovered from his injuries, but has never spoken publicly about what occurred that day. For Martha Lynn, the owner of the home, the incident was very upsetting. Yeah, I would think the incident would be very upsetting for anyone.
This is an upsetting situation.
It's publicity, but it's not exactly the kind of publicity you desire to have. No, it's not.
You don't say.
I don't want people thinking that when they come to the Viskilla Axe Murder House, something's going to happen. That's when people come to the Axe Murder House, I don't want them to think something bad's gonna happen. Something's going to happen that's going to make them do something like that. The house remains open for tourist visits and overnight stays today. Wow. I do not want to stay there. The haunted doll. Ugh, haunted dolls are always the worst. When you think of haunted dolls, it's likely the creepy old Victorian looking porcelain kind that springs to mind, yes. None of which you probably have lying around. Still, don't get too comfortable around any kids' toys too soon though. A Disney's Frozen Elsa doll that was gifted for Christmas 2013 in the Houston area made headlines earlier this year when it seemingly became haunted. Per KPRC2 Houston News, the doll recited phrases from the movie Frozen and sang "Let It Go" when a button on its neck was pressed. For 2 years, it did that in English, Mother Emily Madonia said. In 2015, it started doing it alternating between Spanish and English. There wasn't a button that changed these, it was just random. The family has owned the doll for more than 6 years and never changes batteries. The mother says the doll would randomly begin to speak and sing even when its switch was turned off. Well, that sounds like a Furby. I remember having a Furby as a kid that I took the batteries out and it still. I also had an alarm clock that did that. It was some clock that was like buried deep in my closet, and I remember, because just junk piled up, it was like back in a crevice of my closet when I stopped using it, and at some point it started going off and I found it and there were no batteries in it.
Creepy.
The family decided to throw the creepy doll out in December of 2019. Weeks later, they found it inside a bench in their living room. The kids insisted they didn't put it there, and I believed them because they want to have dug through the garbage outside. Maybe they would have. Maybe they thought it would be funny. Or maybe they just really liked the doll. At that point, Elsa ceased to sing the English rendition of Let It Go altogether, speaking only Spanish when pressed. The family then double-bagged the bizarre doll and placed it at the bottom of their garbage, which was taken out on garbage day. They went on a trip shortly after, but when they returned, Elsa had come back and was waiting in the backyard of their home. Oh my! This time, the family mailed Elsa to a family friend in Minnesota. You deal with this. This is your problem now.
You deal with it.
Who taped the haunted doll to the front bumper of his truck. Why? It doesn't seem to have made its way back to Houston yet, as per Madonia's latest February Facebook update on the creepy doll. I mean, it's scary, but that's just the taping it to the front bumper of the car is hilarious to me. A Deadly Exorcism. In August 2016 in North London, 26-year-old Kennedy Ife began acting strange and aggressive following a pain in his throat. He reportedly bit his father, threatened to cut off a body part, and complained of a python or snake inside of him before his family restrained him to a bed with cable ties and excessive force. Ooh, this creepy. As the BBC reported, the family then set to attempting to cure Kennedy through restraint and prayer over the next 3 days, the court was told. The cynical part of me is thinking, who witnessed everything this guy did? Is this just a story from the family to cover their tracks?
That one.
His brother, Colin Ife, told police, "It's clear that thing was in him, what we believed was a demon, because it was not natural. It was clearly trying to kill him," he said. "We had to restrain him for himself. It was clear if we didn't restrain him, he would have tried to harm people in our family." Kennedy Ife had been bound to his bed for 3 days without medical attention when his brother called emergency services, explaining that Kennedy Ife was complaining of dehydration. Why didn't you, call in a professional? Call in a priest or something?
We don't need a doctor, he needs a priest.
He appeared to have developed breathing issues and was pronounced dead at 10:17 a.m. As The Independent reported, while police were at the house, Colin Ife allegedly carried out an attempted resurrection by chanting and praying for Mr. Ife. All 7 of Kennedy Ife's family members were accused of manslaughter, false imprisonment, and causing or allowing the death of a vulnerable adult. A post-mortem examination revealed over 60 wounds, including a possible bite on Kennedy Ife's body, and his father, Kenneth Ife, along with 4 of his brothers, sustained injuries as well. Kenneth Ife told jurors he ordered his sons to take shifts and use overwhelming force, but denied that an association with cults, occults, and secret societies played any part in the death. After a 4-day jury deliberation, all 7 family members were cleared of charges on March 14th, 2019.
Bad call.
I'm sorry, I'm not buying this. Too many red flags. Florida devil worshipping. Is this Florida man devil worshipping now? Friends noticed that Danielle Harkins, a 25-year-old school teacher near St. Petersburg, Florida, started acting strangely in June of 2012, developing an interest in demonic rituals. Soon after, she was arrested for abuse of 7 of her former students, as the Tampa Bay Times reported. Danielle Harkins told the kids they needed to rid their bodies of demons, as the group gathered before dusk Saturday around a small fire near the St. Petersburg Pier. They should cut their skin to let the evil spirits out, police said she told the children. Then they needed to burn the wounds to ensure that those spirits would not return.
That's messed up.
When Harkins held a lighter to one teen's hand, wind blew the flame out, police said. That prompted her to douse his hand in perfume before setting it on fire. The boy suffered second-degree burns, police said. Another teen was cut on the neck with a broken bottle, police said. Harkins used a flame to heat a small key, which she then used to cauterize the wound. Oh my. The police were notified because a friend of one of the students who participated in the ritual raised alarms. However, none of the students themselves told their parents about the event or would comment following the arrest of Harkins for aggravated battery and child abuse. They were probably terrified. Investigators said they'd spoken to Harkins, but she didn't spell out what type of religion would require such drastic measures. She hasn't informed us exactly what she was trying to accomplish with this, Putes of the St. Petersburg Police Department said. The death of Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was last seen on January 31st, 2013, in the lobby of the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She was vacationing through the West Coast, documenting the trip on her blog, not vlog, and checking in with her parents every day. On January 31st, those calls stopped. Lam had vanished. Soon the police were involved and her parents arrived to help with the search. That February, LAPD released elevator surveillance footage of Lam before her disappearance. Oh! I think I've seen this! The footage shows Lam behaving strangely in the elevator, appearing to talk with invisible people, peering around the corner of the door, crouching in the corner, and opening and closing the door. But what exactly is going on in this video raises more questions than answers. Theories range from psychotic episodes to demonic possession to unknown assailants just out of the camera's view. Around that time, hotel guests started reporting weird things happening with the Cecil Hotel water supply. Yep. As CNN reports, the shower was awful, said Sabina Ball, who spent 8 days there during the investigation. When you turned the tap on, the water was coming black first for 2 seconds and then was going back to normal. The tap water tasted horrible, Boggs said. Oh no.
I don't like where this is going.
It had a funny, sweety, disgusting taste. Is that supposed to be sweaty? It's a very strange taste, I can barely describe it. But for a week, they never complained. Why? We never thought anything of it, she said. We thought it was just the way it was there. No, that's not normal. On the morning of February 19th, a hotel employee climbed to the roof and used a ladder to investigate the hotel's water storage tanks. I don't understand how the employees didn't notice the water was weird too, though.
Okay, we're just gonna ignore that.
On the morning of February 19th, a hotel employee climbed to the roof and used a ladder to investigate the hotel's water storage tanks. That's where authorities found the decomposing naked body of Lam, whose personal items were found nearby. After an autopsy, her death was labeled accidental. NBC Los Angeles reported at the time about the strange circumstances in the hotel's past. The tank has a metal latch that can be opened, but authorities said access to the roof is secured with an alarm and a lock. The single-room occupancy hotel has an unusual history. Night Stalker Richard Ramirez, who is found guilty of 14 slayings in the 1980s, lived on the 14th floor for several months in 1985. And international serial killer Jack Unterweger is suspected of murdering 3 prostitutes during the time he lived there in 1991. He killed himself in jail in 1994. In 1962, a female occupant jumped out of one of the hotel's windows, killing herself and a pedestrian on whom she landed. Oh, that one gives me goosebumps. It's so weird. Like, the footage of her acting strangely, and then it makes no sense how she ended up in the water supply. Like, that, it's so weird. An exorcism in Indianapolis. Okay, we have another exorcism. Hopefully this one goes better than the last. Last year, the Indianapolis Star published a lengthy report on a family terrorized by 3 children allegedly possessed by demons. The account of Latoya Ammons and her family tells disturbing stories of children climbing up the walls, getting thrown across rooms, and children threatening doctors in deep, unnatural voices. When it's kids, it's always so much freakier. It would seem like something straight out of a movie, like The Exorcist. A work of fantasy, except all of these accounts were more or less corroborated with nearly 800 pages of official records obtained by the Indianapolis Star and recounted in more than a dozen interviews with police, DCS personnel, psychologists, family members, and a Catholic priest. See? This one has other witnesses outside of the family. They contacted a priest. Like, this makes way more sense.
This is how it's done.
One of the more chilling sections of the report includes a segment about the possessed 9-year-old. According to Washington's original DCS reports, an account corroborated by Walker the nurse, the 9-year-old had a weird grin and walked backward up a wall to the ceiling, then flipped over Campbell, landing on his feet. He never let go of his grandmother's hand. Oh my.
Nope.
That is so freaky. I'm alone in the house right now and I don't like it. Another segment of the piece reads, the 12-year-old would later tell mental health professionals that she sometimes felt as if she were being choked and held down so she couldn't speak or move. She said she heard a voice say she'd never see her family again and wouldn't live another 20 minutes. That is so... That's the freakiest one yet. The Phone Stalker. Hey, this sounds like Scream.
What's your favorite scary movie?
In 2007, ABC News documented a series of cell phone calls to families with terrifyingly specific death threats. The unidentified callers knew exactly what families were doing and what they were wearing. Yeah, this sounds like Scream. The families say the calls come in at all hours of the night, threatening to kill their children, their pets, and grandparents. Voicemails arrive playing recordings of their private conversations, including one with local police detective. The caller knows, the family said, what they're wearing and what they're doing, and after months of investigating, police seem powerless to stop them. This went on with the Kukinal family for months, who reported a caller with a scratchy voice threatening to slit their throats. Think they might have been, a little inspired by a certain movie.
I said, don't you blame the movies.
When the Fircrest Wash police tried to find the culprits, the calls were traced back to the Kukendall's own phones, even when they were turned off. Would a burner phone still do that? Because I just know the methods that are used in Scream. It got worse. The Kukendalls and 2 other Fircrest families told ABC News that they believed the callers were using their cell phones to spy on them. They say the hackers know their every move, where they are, what they're doing, and what they're wearing. The callers have recorded private conversations, the families and police said, including a meeting with a local detective. It just ends there. I feel like there should be more to that story.
That can't be it. Where's the rest of it?
The Watcher. They made a movie on this. After moving into their $1.3 million dream home, a New Jersey family started receiving creepy death threats from someone who identified themselves as the Watcher.
Stalker alert.
The CBS News reported earlier this year, since moving in, the owner said they have received numerous letters from the mysterious person. The Watcher claimed the home has been the subject of my family for decades, and I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming, Castro reported. The new owners have several children, and other letters asked, had they found out what's in the walls yet? And I am pleased to know your names now, and the name of the young blood you have brought to me. Ugh. The family was forced to flee from their home and later filed a lawsuit against the previous owners.
Finally, a sensible plan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they never got to the bottom of who the Watcher was. Well, happy Halloween! Remember, you are ineffable.